This video is not intended for everyone. If you are content with the way the world is today, then don't watch this video, because if you do, you will go on an emotional roller coaster ride like you've never been on before.
Hearts and good nature. Yeah, Ken.
Mr. President, earlier this year you told us you had ordered your administration to cease and desist on payments to journalists to promote your agenda. You cited the need for ethical concerns and the need for a bright line between the press and the government. Your administration continues to make the use of video news releases, which are prepackaged news stories sent to television stations, fully aware that some or many of these stations will air them without any disclaimer that they are produced by the government. Comptroller General of the United States this week said that raises ethical questions. Does it raise ethical questions about the use of government money to produce stories about the government that wind up being aired with no disclosure that they were produced by the government?
There is a Justice Department opinion that says these pieces are within the law so long as they're based upon facts, not advocacy. I expect our agencies to adhere to that ruling, to that Justice Department opinion. It's been a long-standing practice of the federal government to use these types of videos. Agricultural Department, as I understand, has been using these videos for a long period of time. The Defense Department, other departments have been doing so. It's important that they be based upon the guidelines set out by the Justice Department. Now, I think it'd be helpful if local stations then disclose to their viewers if that's, that this was based upon a factual report and they chose to use it. But evidently in some cases that's not the case. So anyway.
To guarantee that's happening by including that language in the prepackaged report.
No, I don't, look. Oh, you mean a disclosure on George W. Bush and I?
Well, some way to make sure it couldn't air without the disclosure that you believe is so vital.
Ken, I mean, there's a procedure that we're going to follow, and the local stations ought to, if there's a deep concern about that, ought to tell their viewers what they're watching.
Part 1 of this video is going to show you a few small techniques that the average actor knows that they employ to create new characters, to generate more income for themselves when it comes to getting different roles and different acting jobs. Every actor is trained in makeup techniques and lighting, and they know at least the basics when they enter into either the modeling or the acting field. These are classes that are taught by the agencies that they attend. The use of effects and post-production is something of more of a Hollywood budget, or more of a technical background that most of these people don't have, but still at least they can employ the techniques of makeup, and they know how to manipulate their faces and hair and do things that would make the average person not realize when that face is taken from real life and put into the medium of the TV when you see it through the screen in a two-dimensional form. So keep that in mind when you see the rest of the actors that are playing multiple roles right in front of your eyes, and it'll make a little bit more sense to you next time you see them. The second part is going to discuss the ethical and the moral decision that these actors make when they decide to take their jobs from the entertainment world and move them into being a more political activist type of job. The first time that it happens, if they're tricked, that may be one thing, but as they continue to pop up scene after scene, event after event, in unrelated events, then the question has to be asked, why are they doing this? What are they getting out of it other than money? I'm going to show you some key events that have shaped this nation in Section 3 and Section 4 of this video, that you will get a better understanding of why it is so important for us to understand what this TV is, what the images that we see on it are, and how we are supposed to react and store that information. Before we begin, I want to show you some examples of how lighting and makeup can change a person's face to an extreme degree. Now as you look at these eyes, and I flip back and forth between the layer that's underneath them, I want you to notice the pupils don't move, but you'll notice that the lighting and the makeup has changed on both the subjects. So it gives the nose the illumination from one side to the other that makes it look much different than it actually is. Now I'll take the guides off, and we'll do it again. So there's a drastic difference between the shape of the nose just when it comes to the lighting and the actual lens and makeup. Now this is the same person again, on a different angle slightly, so you can see the angle changes again the width of the nose. The makeup being used changes the eye shape, changes the direction it looks, and makes it look like a totally different person. The different types of lenses and the filters on the light cut the actual drastic proportions of the nose and make it so that it's more of a blur and make it look wider. Now the slight change of the face when it comes to the angle of the view, the point of view of the camera, just shifting a little bit, gives the eyes a whole different shape and size and the eyebrows a whole different shape and size. The use of Photoshop to change the color of the pupils is easy. And now we'll show you, there's the change, the difference, the change that you probably didn't see unless I put that center of the face marker. Now all these different little aspects change the overall image that you see, as you probably didn't see that much of a difference in the angle without those markers. So these are things you have to consider when you're looking at a photograph. Now I'm going to show you the reality behind these reality stories, these reality news and reality TV shows. They're far from reality. And the actors that are used in these shows, you would think that it's really harmless for them to do what they're doing, but in essence they're tricking you into seeing something and believing in something that isn't reality, and that can always lead to just bad things in general. Then when we see those same individuals then taking the leap from reality TV shows into news stream events, mainstream events that we are led to believe that are real, then you definitely have a problem. Especially when the mainstream media doesn't tell you that these individuals are actors. And of course, why would they? Because they want to trick you. Their whole point of what they're doing is to lie to you, to deceive you. So when you start to see these actors show up in all different types of shows, and then you put them all together, you understand that everything, it's all fake. It's all there to condition you into seeing something that's not real. So hopefully you'll take away the understanding from this video that the television is not to be taken seriously, other than it is a serious problem. Now maybe you'll remember this individual. Not too long ago, this was on the news, and I thought it was pretty funny when you find out who it actually is.
The FBI has reignited a cold case that has haunted the Bureau for years.
A simple little bit of advice. Whenever you see this talking head, you can pretty much rest assured it's going to be a fake story. I'm not going to play you the entire clip, so we're going to skip through it to the important part of who he's talking to.
Who do you think that D.B. Cooper is?
Well, I'm certain he was my uncle, Lynn Doyle Cooper. My uncle L.D. was wearing a white t-shirt and he was bloody.
Now this actor, you might know her better as Rachel Zoe.
It's, I don't know, I'm working, the vision of what the designers do, what the magazine editors do, and just kind of growing up around that, my fashion icons, like, it's just something I always wanted to do. I just didn't know I could make a career out of it.
And bruised and a mess, and I was horrified. I began to cry. I asked them what happened.
Now you might be asking yourself, why is this important? Well, just stick with me here for a little bit and you're going to see how it gets important. See, on the Rachel Zoe show, she has a character, since now you know that the show is fake and it's scripted. She has a character that was an assistant that left. Here he is.
With Anne's performance dress.
What's wrong?
The tool on the top part of the dress is kind of causing a little bit of skin irritation.
Oh my god.
I'm worried that it's gonna become like a huge problem. To rise to the occasion like I never have before.
Now this person that you see here, he's also a character. This isn't a real person. This is somebody that's reading a part that's written on a script, because he's actually another actor that you've known from another show.
The only other option that I have is to stay, and I know that's not an option for me. So I'm gonna make Ashley cry. I hope my hair looks okay.
Alright, so you got Rachel Zoe's ex-assistant, or whatever his name was. I don't watch the show, so... But anyway, he plays the guy named Bentley in the recent Bachelorette TV show, supposed reality show, which you'll see now that's false too. The funny thing is that the person that is supposedly his ex-wife in real life, supposedly,